Good morning. Today is the 11th of January. It is Saturday. Kind of a weird set of conditions today. It's a lot warmer today than it has been. It's almost in the 60s. So we're trying to put some camera traps out and some other stuff today. It's kind of a mixed bag of an agenda, but there's still ice on the ground. So you have a weird mix of getting around in here. That's going to maybe play a role in the day, but that's our plan for the day, and it's a little windy, so the drone again is up in the air. So we'll see where we go with that. Other than that, we're going to get on the trail and see what local vigilance offers for the day. We have basically put out 3 camera traps in an area where we found a deer kill in the last few weeks. And interestingly enough, there's signs of a new one. So my plans for that are, first of all, just to get video of whatever's going on there. I'm also curious if the camera would actually interfere with the hunting cycle. That's an experiment in and of itself. And my question is it coyotes doing the killing? Because the first deer that I found was kind of like drawn into the undergrowth a little bit, and that's more in the eyes of some feline behavior. I would love nothing more than to prove that this stretch of woods in northern Connecticut has a cougar, because it's a long-standing thing between hunters and those types and the Department of Environmental such and such, that they are here versus they're not. And they can't really deny it past the point, only because they had one get hit by a car in the suburbs of southern Connecticut in 2007. And it made the local news, and they had the body on camera on the news. So kind of hard to overlook that. So it's more the case, I think, that the Nutmeg State, we may not have a lot of them, we may not be teeming with them, but they are here, if only in small numbers. And there's an opportunity to get any one of a number of different kinds of animals on camera, be it deer, porcupine, bobcat, coy wolves. God forbid we get a cougar, and God forbid a Sasquatch comes through. That has yet to happen anywhere convincingly, but then you get into the people that'll give you the whole argument that they can see trail cams, and to that I basically say no kidding. I've had deer walk right up the trail cams and look at them. I mean, even if they're well disguised and hidden and all that, the dumbest of animals, if the animals are indeed dumb, can come right up and know they're there. I mean, coyotes have shown awareness of them. So, they know they're there. It's a matter of whether they bother them or not, or they're bothered by the cameras or not. But we'll see. You could run into a bear today. It's warmer out today. I needed to get off the trail too, because there's still a lot of ice there, and it's kind of annoying, as generally it's hovering about 60 degrees yet, but there was enough ice here that it's still clinging to life a little bit. So the trail is still fairly slippery. I just have to keep my eyes out for trees too, because it is rather windy today, being as it's like a really windy day, so watch for downed limbs and the things like that while I'm in here. I don't know what more is going to be accomplished today other than putting the cameras out, because the wind is problematic for drones. It wasn't that bad when I got here, but it's definitely kicked up since. So we're just kind of poking around in here looking for any signs of life. Kind of like this is where we are today. Kind of on the edge of a downward sloping part of the situation, and There's a property fence that I didn't previously know was here. That is directly where we're coming up to, and the nature of the tree life in here is getting a little different from where it's wider open. In here you're getting more like little sticky undergrowth stuff, and that's more open. Down here you get more little trees and undergrowth and things like that. But we'll go down a little bit more and see. I mean, right now with this kind of leaf litter and the like, kind of hard to find tracks. When I was up in the upper meadow, signs of deer anyway. Although with a fresh deer kill, I saw some fur that hadn't previously been there. Something was digging here. That means at least that the coy wolves and the coy dogs are about, and scored another hit on the Bambi population. But that's the thing. Maybe with any luck, we can gonna walk around that little. We'll make our way up there. Maybe with any luck, we'll get that on film. That'd be kind of cool. Or gruesome. One of the two. But yeah, today we're just kind of poking around in the woods. I would like to get the drone up, but it's... When I checked the weather, they were basically projecting 28-mile-an-hour winds, which is a little bit risky. Not that I haven't done that before, but I've also paid for it before too, so I don't know. So basically, like last week, it's basically me rambling through the woods and looking for a sign in much less than ideal conditions. And God forbid I walk up on a moose in here or something for some action, but with their big noses and their big ears, they probably know I'm here and go the other way. So we're going to start working back towards the trail, probably on this one here, and see where we go from there. I will be out again during the week, not sure which day, but to retrieve the cameras. I could let them go for a week, I guess. We'll see how that works out, but for now, I think we'll wrap up the segment here unless I run into something especially exciting. I think we're at the point where I started last week down here, where it kind of slopes down into a little valley and you have the runoff in the stream over here. But again, we're going to cut this one here in this boulder field and take a look around, but I'm not really thinking I'm going to find much. So we'll come back on if things warrant. Back, something interesting. This is probably a break, but if you're looking at it, it actually looks like a twist, and twists are actually things in the tree break and stick structure environment that I do find interesting, because unlike a break where it can be wind, and I mean today's perfect evidence to back up my dismissal of 99% stick structure as things, as far as like wind being a factor in some of the downed limbs. This area in particular has a lot of new downed trees in the last 2 weeks due to the wind that has gone through here and the ice storm of 2 weeks ago. So if you're picking up anything from the videos I make of the local vigilance area, you can see the vast difference conditions can take week to week. Last week when I was in here, you had snow on the ground, and a couple of days before that, I was out in an ice storm. Before that, it was more like this. So conditions can change rapidly in this area, so that's part of what makes it interesting. Some of the potential I'm not going to say ghostly, but what could be taken that way activity is interesting too, because like I said, there's an old fence over there. There used to be a town in here a long time ago, and you come across foundations of old houses and things. So people that are into like ghost investigations might find this to be an interesting place too from that standpoint. From an amateur wildlife perspective, you've got number of things in here. Again, I rattled off white-tailed deer. You've got fisher cats, bobcats, porcupines, all the normal critter level stuff down the hill. You probably have a couple of beavers. You've got a couple of moose in here. 4 to 5 black bears in the immediate neighborhood. Possibly a cougar. Definitely got a pack of coy wolves in here. Actually, it's a mixed pack based on the tracks of last week. I posted some pictures. Side by side, they were trailing a deer, and the one set of tracks were like Yodi or normal Yodi size. The other were huge, and I mean that's the perfect example right there. You've got a coyote and a coy wolf side by side going up the trail tracking a whitetail. Bobcats, if I haven't mentioned them. So you've got pretty much every northeastern large and medium-sized fauna in here, and I still think it's too early, but it is interestingly mild for this time of year. So if it is colder up north, these are conditions when you have a potential group of the forest folk come through. Not to stay, but they do winter here sometimes. So there's that as well. Eyes and ears open, but with all the wind, you'd be hard pressed to hear anything today, especially with me talking. But it has been quiet so far. So again, I am going to make my way back. I thought that brakes twist thing was interesting. I thought I'd add that to the video since I found that. I don't think the wind did that though, because quite honestly, if you look over there, that's where it is. It's kind of like down in a dip and away from the wind. So I'm not convinced the wind is the cause. So I'll add that to the mix, but I am going to kind of part this one here again, mainly just because that's about what I found in here so far. But again, if things warrant, well, I'll add to the vlog and we'll go from there. Thanks.